Hello and welcome back to day 2 of our signature series where I'm breaking down for you some of the ways that you could potentially make $100,000 by the end of the year and what the sales / offer combination / strategy would look like to do that. Now, if you haven't heard the details about this challenge, then go back to day 1, have a quick listen to that one, and then circle back to this episode. But the 2 quick cliff notes are that if you want personalized and customized strategy for your business, you need to be on the waitlist for the Peace Profit Mastermind. We have a waitlist only application enrollment period that begins on the 1st of May with some epic bonuses and discounts. If you want to learn all the details about what that's about, you can DM me on Instagram or look at the show notes below. And also, if you're listening to this podcast and it's just like numbers and mush, and you're like, I could get behind that offer strategy, but give me the numbers and the breakdowns in paper visually so you can see it, then comment 102 on my Instagram and I will send you through a cheat sheet, no opt-in required, of exactly the breakdown that I'm speaking to, the numbers, the benchmarks, what you'd be looking at, so you can see how that would play out in your mind. So if you are wanting to navigate from one-to-one services, it maybe you have a time leveraged offer suite that just isn't working for you right now or not playing well together, or maybe you're just burnt out and want something a little simpler, then this 5-day offer series is for you. So tune in. Today's offer is a $997 group coaching offer. And on the back end, you might have something like a mastermind. Now, whenever I say the word mastermind, everyone who's in business to consumer, front-facing businesses, whether you're in health and wellness, like parenting, whatever it is, they're always like, oh, well, masterminds are a business-only thing. And I'm always like, well, no, you might not call it a mastermind, but it is a premium service type offer. It is almost like you are delivering a really high level of personalized and ongoing support, but you're just doing that in more of a group capacity, and it's a premium type offer. So if you are business to consumer and you're like, oh, this won't work for me, yes, it will. So let's dive into exactly what that would look like. If you wanted to make $100,000 by the end of the year, and you felt like a $997 group coaching offer is something that you could get behind, here's what it would look like, or here's kind of what I would potentially coach you or consult you to do. So the first thing that we would do is in April, we would do what I call a hand raiser launch. So if this is a new product or service that you would be offering, then what you would do is put out what I call a hand raiser like email. It's almost like a handshake type tap the shoulder strategy. It works exceptionally well. We have had people who have put this like simple email out and had more than 40 replies of people putting their hand up to work with them. We have had multiple people in the Peace and Profit Mastermind sell out their beta rounds with this incredibly simple strategy. So it is absolutely possible for you. And the majority of these people, they don't have huge audiences to do this. They do have generally some audience, but this is what you're going to do. Put out this really simple hand raiser, email, post, whatever it is, and intake a beta round of people. So in that first intake, you'd be looking at roughly 8 people. If you put that out, let's say in April, as in this month, you would be looking at, if you had 8 people in that program, boom, $8,000 to get paid to deliver and create your group coaching program. So specifically, you'd be looking at about $7,800. So then what you would do is go through and deliver that program over the next couple of months. And what you would do is on the back of that program, it's going to ideally be like a 4 to 8 week sprint with a really valuable and tangible outcome for people. We don't want to go much longer than that in this sprint, because a group coaching offer is typically when people are going to show up live and kind of implement with you. It's kind of like a sprint, right? Where you're coaching people live, you're supporting people live. We don't want that necessarily at this price point to go on for too long, because number one, it's really hard for people to maintain momentum for that really long period of time. It's far easier for people to sprint with you to get an outcome. But also number 2 is we want on the back end of this offer, this mastermind offer. So the mastermind could be a 3-month offer, could be a 6-month offer. It's going to depend on what your deliverables are, what your audience is, etc. But let's say that this mastermind is only $1,997, which, let's say, if you're my niche people, that would actually probably be on the very low side of what you would charge people. So being conscious that if you're always charging too low, that's where you may not be attracting the right people. But this is a price point that would potentially work really well for people who are in business to consumer, or people who are serving other business owners who are more at the starting point. So using your discernment to either offer a 3 or 6 month mastermind, and we're actually ideally hoping for up to a 50% upgrade rate. So we're hoping for a really great ascension rate into this highly valuable continuity offer. So this, like I said, could be business to business or business to consumer. And what you're going to do is really, in this group coaching program, want to form relationships, work with people, position people who want to work with you on a longer term basis, but also really hone in on a very specific and tangible outcome by the end of this program. So let me give you some examples of what that might be. Let's say you are a health coach. It could be that you are going to do like an intensive group coaching program to share with people how to run 5 kilometers by the end of it, to go almost like, that couch to 5K. You're going to coach them on how to, at the end of this 4 to 8 week sprint, they should be able to run 5 kilometers. You may have people who want to lose weight or be more organized in their home, whatever it is, and you might go through with them exactly how they can save hundreds of dollars on their grocery bill and meal plan to save 10 hours per week in the kitchen through savvy meal planning, etc., and feed their family healthier meals. You may have like new mums who you are targeting, and the goal might be to sleep like a husband. For every single person in the household to have a really great night's sleep. Get your kids to sleep through the night, address like all of these things like, if your kid keeps waking up multiple times per night, if your baby doesn't want to sleep, if you feel like as a result of motherhood you are just like in light sleep zone the whole night, here's how you can get your whole household to sleep like a husband. If you were supporting business owners, it could be by the end of this sprint, they will have built and written their own website and have their branding sort of sorted by the end of that. So really having a think too, like what is an outcome that someone could have at that initial stage that's a really powerful outcome. It might be related to something that is a pain point that they've wanted to address for a long time. You're going to go through a 4 to 8 week sprint. At the end of that, you are going to pitch your mastermind, and it's going to be $1,997. You're going to have a really high ascension rate because you've essentially helped someone at a really powerful level achieve what they needed. And then what you're going to do is say, okay, well, now that you've achieved that, what is the next thing going to look like? And what would it look like for us to have something that maybe includes a bit of one-to-one, might include, let's say you're a naturopath or a nutritionist, it might include some testing, it might be more mindset, momentum based, having a think to like the next elevated problem that someone has and what would encourage someone to seek out more long-term support from someone, i.e. you, who they already have a great relationship with. So relationships are super important, who has already shown them how to get the thing that they really, really wanted to get and who they trust as like an expert authority. So if the goal was to run 5 kilometers, then maybe the mastermind is all about how to train for your first marathon. So you've taught someone how to get the bug for running. They have kicked goals. They've loved it. Next step, now you're like, oh my God, the sky's the limit. All right, come and join my 6-month training program where we will go through how to run your first marathon. Maybe when we've gone through this program all about like how to save time in the kitchen and help your family eat healthier meals that take 15 minutes or less, maybe the next goal is for someone to lose 15 kilos, or the next goal is to meet their next health goal, or have other productivity hacks that can help them create ease and peace within their family and parenting. If the initial program was sleep like a husband, maybe thinking to who that audience is, like, oh, I've helped everyone sleep better, but I'm targeting new moms and they're all now struggling with like just the transition to matrescence and how you can create more peace and harmony in parenting and relationships. So that's to give you kind of an indication of what that would look like. So then what you are doing, so you've essentially created $8,000 in April just by a simple hand raiser launch. In May, you've created another $8,000 with a simple invitation on the back end to join your longer term program. And then what you're doing is really investing at that point, number one, in delivery. But number two, in setting things up for a proper launch in July. So looking at your lead generation, looking at the relationships that you are forming with people in your audience, and you want to aim for 25 people into the next cohort of that group coaching program. So not a giant amount of people, you're looking for 25. And then what you would do is look to ascend about 8 people following that 4 weeks into the next round of the mastermind. So you'd be looking at, with 25 people, nearly $25,000, with 8 people ascending into the mastermind, which is less than 50%, like it's like 30 to 40%, you're looking at $16,000. In October, you're going to launch again. Every time you're going to iterate, you're going to get a bit better. You're going to start generating more leads. You're going to have more people on your email list. Your sales page is going to get better. And this time you enroll 30 people. That is just 1,000 leads. That's not impossible. And hopefully by this stage, you've got the flow of how that all works. $30,000. If 9 people ascend after that program into the mastermind, you've then got another $18,000 into the business. So this is what it would look like. And then considering that the mastermind enrollments get easier and easier and easier the more you keep funneling people into the group coaching program, because many times with something like a mastermind, people will want to continue on for multiple terms. And this is where, if you have just one program, and in the next couple of days I will speak to what it would look like to have just one program, because in my former life as a life coach, that was essentially what I had. But when you have a signature offer on the front end that solves a problem people desperately want to fix, not every problem, one core problem, you then have this really easy profit generating, funnel on the back end that invites people to take the next step with you, and then they renew. So this is where potentially the front end of your funnel is only generating 40 to 50% of the actual revenue in your business. And this is why it's hard to funnel hack people without buying their programs and fully immersing yourself into their full business. It's because you don't know what people have on the back end. Like, you could look at my business from the front and not see the full picture of revenue generating, profit generating products and services that we have on the back end. And usually when you have this hero signature offer format, that doesn't mean, it doesn't have to mean that all there is this one product, but what it means is that we're really clear and concise on the front end of our product suite with the core transformation that we become known for and the authority that we are known for. And then on the back end is where we're scooping up really low lift profit that is generally all profit because we've already generated the leads on the front end for the main program. Then in December, you may decide that you want to pre-sell some spaces into a January cohort, a really low lift, like invitation into the group coaching program. Let's say you have 12 people who want to sign up for that. You don't go through the full launch cahoots because you'll do that in January, but you might have a really compelling offer to invite people to join that program, and that would be another 12 grand. If this was what you looked at, this is how you would be looking at $116,751, and almost every month from April you would be at between like $8,000 and $20,000 with a couple of months that are higher than that. It actually gets to be that simple. Now, let me explain to you where most people go wrong and where you may be going wrong. If you're like, I've kind of got a similar flow to that, there's a couple of things. Number one is you don't know how to, or you don't prioritize lead generation. If you are still stuck in like 6 to 8 people, you're like, that's the dream. You know what I mean? Like you feel like you're going through all the motions, but you still can't break out of that 6 to 8 people in every launch for the signature program. And it's something that's at that like $497 to $997 price range. It might be even a bit higher. Then number one, look at the leads. Based on a 2 to 3% conversion rate, what of the people who are in your launch runway, i.e. the people who opt into the launch lead magnet and the people who opt into the conversion event, not the total number of people on your email list ever, including the people who haven't opened an email in 12 months, they don't count. It's just the people in this particular launch cycle. And usually I say allocate 20% of your existing audience if you are regularly cleaning your list to engage in a particular launch cycle. Based on a 2% conversion rate, what would you be getting? So if you're like, oh, well, I only had 50 people registered for my webinar, that's one sale. So what do you expect if that's what you've got? You need to learn urgently, if you want to make 6 figures, multi-6 figures in your business, how to generate leads. That might be learning how to actually create and run profitable and effective and cost-effective Facebook ads. You need to learn it ASAP. If you're like, no, I've got 500 leads coming in every launch cycle, or let's make it 1,000 leads coming in for every launch cycle, but you're not making 20 to 30 sales, you have a conversion problem. Where is your offer not converting? And you need to learn what is not working and how to fix it. Is that the sales page isn't working? Is your webinar not hitting the right points and perspective shifts? Is your offer promise not right? Is your offer value not right? Are you not building relationships and doing essentially what it takes in the 2025 market to make sales? If you don't know why your offer isn't converting, keeping doing the same thing is not going to change that. So you need to learn what's not working and how to fix it ASAP. Both of these things are at the forefront of what we do in the Peace and Profit Mastermind. This is where also, if you don't have someone reviewing your sales page, reviewing your webinar, your emails, your launch strategy, your launch debrief, all, again, things that I do within the Peace and Profit Mastermind, and your launch isn't converting, this is where you're potentially going to stay stuck where you are until you discover what it is that isn't working. So following this plan of being like, okay, these are the benchmarks that I'm aiming for, these are the numbers, these are the leads that I need, and this is the conversion rate I'm aiming for, this plan lays it all out for you. So if you want a copy so you can see it in writing, comment 102 on my Instagram or just send me a DM for day 2 and I would be so glad to send you through a PDF. There's no opt-in, but this is where you can get the plan essentially and start brainstorming and iterating what that would look like for in your business. So that is all for this day 2. Stay tuned for day 3. Day 4 and day 5, where we have different offer combinations for you to try so that you can make $100,000 by the end of this year. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.